Hi everyone, welcome to FinTech Academy. This is Harsh. Today I want to show you how to activate, create and use unit of measures in QuickBooks Desktop. We will be going through both the single unit of measure mode as well as the multiple unit of measure mode in QuickBooks Desktop. Alright, so let's get started. What are unit of measure? QuickBooks Premier and Enterprise also give option to assign a unit of measure to each item. With unit of measure turned on, you can show what quantities, prices, rates, and costs are based on. For example, if you provide a customer with consulting and you enter 4 on an invoice as the quantity for your consulting service item, the unit of measure can show whether that quantity means 4 hours, 4 days, or 4 weeks. Or if you enter a quantity of 25 on an invoice for the ballpoint pen item, the unit of measure can show whether that quantity means 25 individual pens, 25 boxes of 12, or 25 cases containing 120 pens each. QuickBooks provides 2 different ways or modes for assigning unit of measure to items. You can choose to assign only 1 unit of measure to each item, which is also called single unit of measure per item mode, or more than 1 unit of measure to each item, which is also called multiple unit of measure per item mode. So what are the modes of unit of measure, and let's go a little bit more in detail on that. In single mode, you can assign different units of measure to different items, but each item can have only 1 unit of measure assigned to it. You should choose single mode only if you buy, stock, and sell each item by the same unit of measure. For example, choose this mode if you buy an item by the meter, keep track of it in inventory by the meter, and sell it by the meter. Alternatively, you should choose multiple mode if you buy, stock, or sell items in different units. For example, choose this mode if you buy an inventory item by the liter and sell it by the milliliter, or if you sell consulting services by both the hour and the day. Right, so let's look like live in action in QuickBooks Desktop, both the single unit of measure and multiple unit of measures. Alright guys, so we are right over here in QuickBooks Desktop. Let's have a look. The first step is we need to activate unit of measure. So we go to edit on the top and we will be clicking on preferences over here. In the preferences on the left you will see items and inventory. We click on that if it's not selected, and then we'll click on company preferences. In that, the last option is unit of measure, and there is an option to enable. I'm going to click on that. QuickBooks will give me 2 options. If I wanted to go for a single unit of measure per item, or I wanted to go for multiple unit of measure per item. For now, I'm going to go for the single unit of measure per item and click on finish. Over here it is selected. Now if you do not have the unit of measure, mean to say you cannot click on enable, and QuickBooks just tells you that you need to learn more about that. That means that you probably are using QuickBooks Pro, which does not have the unit of measure inbuilt. Alright, so we do have it, and I'm going to click on OK on the top right over here. As soon as I do that, QuickBooks is going to prompt me. QuickBooks must close all its open windows to change this preference. Click OK on that. So I'm going to click OK, and it's going to close all my open windows in the back over here, and we can still work without that with all these options available on the top in the QuickBooks menu bar. But it's always good to have a look at home page if you're used to that. So you can click on company and home page like this, or you can click on home on this left hand navigation bar. I'm going to click on the home page like this. There you go, my home window is back, and I can start from here by going to items and services, or I can go to list and item list over here. So let me click on the item list over here, and we will start with an item creation over here with the inventory part. Alright guys, so let's create an item. To create an item, either we can right click over here anywhere in this area and click on new, or on the bottom there is item. I will click on that and the first line is new. I can click on that as well. If you're used to keypad, the short key is Ctrl+N, as you can see right over there. Okay, I clicked on new over here. The type is the one that we need to select. So there could be either of these types of items that you can create, right? If you're looking to find out, like, the differences between service items and inventory part items, inventory assembly items, and non-inventory part items, then I do have a separate video tutorial on this which explains all 4 of those with examples. Alright, let's create an inventory part type item over here, and I'm going to give a name over here. So let's say I type in ballpoint pen, and we are buying the pens and we are selling them. Now the unit of measure is right over here. If I'm going to use it for the first time, I need to click on the small down arrow and there is add new. I'm going to click on that add new, and I will be given the option that select a unit of measure type. Let's say I want to measure the ballpoint pen in each, so I'm going to click on the count. Alternatively, there are other unit of measures as and when applicable to the items. You can select those. Once I click on count and click next, the unit of measure is that I need to select each, which I will be doing that, and click finish. There you go. Now I have the unit of measure each, which is selected over here. Now if I put, let's say the cost is my purchase cost of this pen, let's say it's $2, and I want to sell this, let's say for $5. There you go. I have assigned that, and the income account, I'll just put it to, let's say, sales over here. So I have the COGS account, I have the sales over here, I have the inventory asset over here, and I did the unit of measure, which is each. Can I add one more unit of measure? Yes, you can. Click on the small down arrow again, and I click on add new. Let's say I want to put again the same count, which is my unit of measure, and click next. This time I want to maybe set it up as dozens, so I click on that and click finish. There we go. I have one more unit of measure defined. So I can select each, or I can select dozen, but still this is not multiple unit. When there is more than one units listed over here, doesn't mean that I have enabled multiple unit of measure per item. No, we are still using single unit of measure for this particular item. Let's say if I click OK on this, the item is created, and I have the item created as a unit of measure, which is each. Let's enter a few transactions and see how it works. I'm going to go to the home page over here on the left, and we'll enter a few transactions on this one. Right, so let's create enter bills as if we have received a bill from the vendor, and we also received the stock or the inventory that we wanted to buy. So I'm going to create a vendor over here because we don't have a vendor. So let's say vendor V as an example, and as soon as I hit the tab, it's going to ask me that vendor not found, and I can say quick add, or I can say setup. Setup, of course, that means you want to provide more details about the vendor. Nothing wrong with that, but for now I'm going to click on quick add. As soon as I do that, I can select the date on which I want to create this or enter this bill. Let's say I received on July the 1st. The bill number, whatever is mentioned on the invoice, I'll mention that over here. And then I'm going to go to the items. Let's say we bought this item that is ballpoint pen like this over here, and the quantity we bought is 100 pieces or numbers. So $2 is the price per is the cost per item per quantity. We have the total amount is $200. If there is a sales tax that is applicable, that's going to be shown over here, and I have the total amount due for the vendor to be paid, which is going to go and sit in the accounts payable as $226. If I wanted to add the terms, I can do that, and automatically my due date of the bill is updated over here. Let's say I did save and close, right? And because I updated the terms, QuickBooks is just prompting that, hey, did you want to make it permanent? And I'll say yes to that, as well as the older transactions in future. So that is now updated over here, right? And let's have a look at the inventory, what it shows. So I'm going to go to items and services over here. We will be able to see that we have total quantity on hand as 100, and it also shows that this is the item that we have selected. I can find out what is the sell price, which is $5 over here. If I do want to sell this item, of course I'll go to Invoice and I can do that, which we'll be doing momentarily. Alright, let's create an invoice over here by going through the create invoice section. Oops, I came to the wrong one. Click on the small down arrow and create invoice. So let's select on that, and I'll be just putting in the customer, because again we may not have the customer, but I'm going to create right over here. Hit the tab key and do quick add. Of course, for the customer we should do setup and enter as much information, but for now, as we are just doing a demonstration, let's do a quick add over here. Alright, so right over here I'm going to select that item, which is ballpoint pen, and we can see the quantities over here. Let's say I'm going to sell this item of 25 pieces or 25 numbers. As soon as I do that, it's going to show that the price has came automatically, because when we created the item we had given the price to QuickBooks. So QuickBooks has put that over here. We can certainly update that if you want, but I'm good with that, so I'm just going to say save and close. As soon as I did that, I can go back to items and services. Alternatively, I can use open windows on the left, and I can select the windows if they're open over here. I'm going to click on it, and we will be able to see that the stock quantity is updated. We are down to 75 from what we had initially, that was 100. Also, there is another report about inventory. If we go to reports and inventory, and if I say inventory stock status by item, that's going to show me as well that where do I stand with my ballpoint pen, and it shows over here that I have 75 numbers of that particular item in stock. I can double click on that 75. It's going to show me the details that yes, there was a bill that was entered for 100, and then I put in the invoice for 25, and this is how I came to that 75 for whatever period I select. Alright, so let me go back to the home page. So this is a quick little part about single unit of measure. Alright folks, now let's have a look about the multiple unit of measure. So what we're going to do is click on edit, go to preferences again. On the left there is items and inventory. I'm going to click on company preference, and over here I can change it to multiple unit of measure per item in this section of unit of measure. As soon as I did that, and I'm going to click on OK over here, QuickBooks will prompt that you must close all of its open window to change this preference. Click OK, and of course all the windows on the back will be closed. I'll go to my shortcuts and click on the home page to get my home window back. Let's go back to items and services, and once we are over here, let's create a new item. I'll click on item again on the bottom and click on new. Once I do that, I will select inventory part type as my item, and I need to give an item name over here. So I'm going to call it, let's say, new ballpoint pen. So that's another item that we want to create. Just added the word new before the ballpoint pen. Okay, so unit of measure slash set, we have that, and I'm going to click on that, and when I say add new, QuickBooks will say okay, select a unit of measure type. Now here, let's say I want to select count, so I'm going to click on count and click next. So now the terminology is changed. QuickBooks says select a base unit of measure. There is a small little explanation provided by QuickBooks over here. So let's say my base unit is each, and I'm going to click next over here. Now we need to add related units over here, and I'm going to create one over here stating that, let's say box, and I'll put an abbreviation as BX, or let's say box of 20, so I'll just say B20. And I'll mention over here that there are 20 number of ballpoint pens in one box. That's what we are basically telling over here. So I created box new, which is not there, or maybe I could have used this as well, which is one above, but I wanted my own abbreviation, so I just put in B20, and I put in that 20 is what is over here. Click next on that, and then QuickBooks is going to ask us that default unit of measure, how are you going to purchase and how are you going to sell. So let's say if I say over here, I'm going to buy in box, and I will do the sales in each. Get in boxes, sales in each, and shipping, of course, will be doesn't matter much, but of course we'll select each over here, or the box whichever it is. So if selected, overrides the unit of measure on sales order when printing pick list. I'm going to click next over here. Now we can give a meaningful name, set name. So I can say box of 20, for example, and I can click on finish. Now, as soon as I've done that, we can see over here that we have a box of 20 each like this. Now, let's say when we buy again, it is $2 for that pen, and when we sell, it is going to be $5 per each over here. The income account is a mandatory account, so we need to provide that. That's why I put sales over here, and I'm going to click OK on that. Now we can see that we have used 2 units over here. One unit that we used is each, and the second unit that we have used is box. Let's have a look at entering transactions to understand what is happening when we enter a vendor bill and how does it show up. Alright, so right over here in enter bills, I'm going to click on enter bills over here, and we will be selecting the same vendor. Let's say vendor V over here. I'll go to let's say the bill date is July the 5th, the bill number is 1001, and I'm going to go to items over here, select the new ballpoint pen. That's what we have, and I'm going to mention over here that what is it that we want to buy, or what is it that we are purchasing. So if I take my pointer over here, it's going to show me that yes, the unit of measure is B20. So if I say that okay, I have 2 B20s, right? So that is the box right over here. It's going to tell me convert B20 to 40 each. So because we have mentioned that 20 numbers in one box, automatically QuickBooks says that hey, this is what it's going to be, 40 numbers with respect to the quantity in each. Now the pricing is also, the cost is also $40. Why? Because we have mentioned $2 per each pen. So we have 20 of them in one box. Automatically $40 has been converted by QuickBooks. Times 2 is $80 over here. So we can see that QuickBooks does a pretty good job of we just providing the formula. It converts that and then it shows over here. So once again, just to understand, B20 is our box 20, that's our unit of measure, and I mentioned 2 over here. So it is basically 2 boxes of 20 each, which is 40 individual pens that we'll have in total. The cost has been taken of $40 because we mentioned that $2 per pen is the cost of purchase, and each box is 20, so 20 times 2 is 40, and 40 times 2 boxes is $80 over here, plus the HST, that is a factor that will go and sit over here. Let's do save and close, and let's go and look in the item list over here. I just clicked on the open window. I'm a little bit used to open windows, so I don't want to keep on doing the same thing, repeating again, right? So I'm going to click on item list over here. Now when we are over here, let's have a look at the status of our new ballpoint pen, which is like this over here, and QuickBooks is showing us that yes, we do have 40 pieces in stock like this. So automatically that conversion has been done by QuickBooks for us, and it shows up. Let's go on the home page, and now I want to create the invoice, so I'm going to go to the invoice part over here. So a small down arrow again, create invoices. Once we are in there, I'm going to select the customer, which we have already created, which is customer C. Over here, I'm going to go to the item and type in new ballpoint pen item. Okay, and when I go to the quantity, here we can say, let's say I want to sell 20 numbers. So if I put 20 numbers, it's going to tell me right over here in that box that means one box is what you're selling. Now if I say instead of 20, if I say 10 numbers, right, then it's going to tell me that you are going to sell half a box, which is 0.5. So The good thing is QuickBooks, so when you use multiple units, QuickBooks tells you right over here in this quantity area itself that, you know, what is the other unit of measure. So basically you can see both the unit of measure. Now someone might say B20 is, I'm getting confused what it is. Well, you can give the name that you want. You can even type in BX or box, whichever you want, right? It's completely optional when we create the unit. I just put in B20 because let's say I might have a box of B20, I might have another, let's say B30 or B50, something like that. So I just want to differentiate rather than just making it box. And trust me, if you are having a lot of items that you're dealing with, right, then you do want to give a meaningful name so that it makes it easy. Anyway, that's something can be put in whatever you want. So we'll stick with this 10 numbers over here. The prices came in automatically over here. Of course, QuickBooks can allow us to change, but let's say I'm going to do save and close. Once I completed that, if I go back to the item list, right, it is going to show me that yes, my stock is now 30 pieces or 30 numbers that I have left. If I go to reports and I go to inventory, right over here, inventory stock status by item, I can click on that and it's going to show me that currently I have 30 pieces in stock over here. If I double click on that, yes, it will show me the details as well, that this is how it is, right, that my 30 pieces have got converted. So we can see that how QuickBooks can take us from single unit of measure to multiple unit of measure, defining, going back to the item list over here and right click over here and go to edit item, okay, and then the new ballpoint pen. If I click on edit for this particular unit of measure, of course QuickBooks will give me a small little message on that and I'm okay with that. This is how the whole definition has happened. Box of 20, that's what I mentioned each, and then I gave that abbreviation which we were talking about a short time back as B20. Put that because of that 20 over here once again, right, and then these are the details. I'll click OK over here, right, and if I go back to list, then you can also access the same unit of measures from here. There is a separate section now, it has been created, set list, and of course you will see all your unit of measures coming up over here. If I double click on that, it's going to show me. So once again guys, it is about the base unit and related unit. If I open that again, base unit is what the stock is maintained in. So by default, if I go to the item list or any of the reports, it is the base unit on which the reports get displayed. The related units is what is shown over here on the bottom. You could have more than one related units as well. So if someone says I want to define another one below that, let's say a case of 120 pence, you can even do that. Just put it over here and it's going to show that as well. So guys, this is what it is, and this is how you use the single unit of measure and multiple unit of measure. Alright guys, so if you found this video helpful, please like our video and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Also let me know in comments what would you like to see in future videos, i.e. Harsh, I want to see this video, or Harsh, can you make a video on this topic for QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Online. Alternatively, you can visit us at fintechsolutions.ca for our courses information. Thanks for watching.